hey man, have you had any thoughts of selling? And they go like this, no. What do you know? You're like, I gotcha. You're gonna be living anyway. Why not go for something insanely great?
What's up, Tom Ferry here, #1 real estate coach in the world. Sam Hartman here, #1 real estate agent in your heart. Tom, you just talked about, you like that? I do too.
Love that. That's good.
So you talked about the aisle of chips.
Yes.
People out there, whether they're selling a house, buying a house, it's
Yes.
like they're walking down the grocery store aisle of chips. So many options. What should someone be looking for? What should they have when they're making that choice?
So just to be clear, the metaphor is something that I've said to people before, where I say, look, what do you do with great confidence that you only do once every 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
And I said it would be like if my wife said to me, go buy a bag of chips, and I don't eat chips, I don't know chips, I don't understand chips, there's 8 million chips, how do I select one, right? So what Sam and I are talking about and help working on his strategy is, how do we make sure that you and everyone that might be watching this that doesn't know you as well as I do, that they understand that the way you operate is different. You're not transactional, you're relationship based, you're a master of negotiation, you've solved all of the complex problems that somebody that hasn't bought or sold in 10 years or maybe the first time in their life, you've solved them. How do we package that in a way to have people just say, okay, I get it, Sam's my guy.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're a business person watching this and you own a dry cleaner, it's the same exact thing. How do we stand out in this very noisy world today and make sure that people understand where your heart is, where your head is, and the repeatable and scalable processes that you built in your business to serve more customers?
Awesome. That's Tom Ferry, guys. He's one of the reasons that I do what I do, and I love following you, man, so I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
Sorry for the shaky video. I'm nervous as hell meeting you, man.
Take care, man. Take care.
Appreciate it, bud.
Dude, that right there, that was baller. I was like, cool. Like, where's RJ? Help.
Speaking of RJ,
Yes.
you asked the question. You did your AMAs earlier this morning.
Oh, yes.
And I think RJ had the first question, but
did.
he's like, Tom, ignore my question.
Okay, well, hold on. Just in fairness,
No, you get like 200.
there's a lot. I did that yesterday when I thought I had time, and then literally my time got gobbled up.
Yeah.
And I probably left, I don't know, 400 questions unanswered. So, okay, what has been your biggest mistake and what did you learn from it? Well, RJ, standing in front of you, a personal one, I would tell you, when we started the business, not having super clear roles and distinctions and decision-making processes between myself and my wife. That we have such a great dynamic between us. You know, she's very numbers oriented. I'm very much big vision. So she's like, let's make payroll. And I'm like, let's take over the world. So what would happen is there were times that we needed to strike to be effective and grow. But she was so focused on, we've only got so many eggs in the basket. We can't be wasting those eggs.
Yeah.
And that's because I didn't clearly say to her, look, how many eggs do we need? That's what is going to sustain us through this market.
Yeah.
Then what are the investments we're going to make? So just on a personal level, like anybody that's ever had a business partner, in this case my wife, like the mistake was being immature and not knowing how to have those decisions and have those conversations and then create the right structure. And it wasn't only until probably 2008 that I finally figured that out.
Yeah.
So, you go through the end of 6, 7, 8, and at the end of 8, you're like, you want to punch each other in the face because we're both right.
Yeah.
And we're both my wife's very strong, right? So she's really good in business. So trying to balance that out, that was a major mistake. And should have got it sooner.
And then because I know a couple friends that are trying to start their own businesses, so they have partners and they don't always agree. What's the best way to come to a decision?
So you're probably not going to like this, but I would say that most partnerships are doomed to fail, right? You know, there's just so much written on this that, you know, too many chiefs, you know, too many chefs in the kitchen, all that stuff. So I'm not saying partnerships are bad, right? Because there's a lot of successful partnerships, right? So I would say the vast majority of partnerships fail because either one of you isn't necessary, you know, meaning you replicate each other's skills. You're good at sales, I'm good at sales. Well, okay, we're both good at sales, but who's going to run the back office? Who's going to do IT? Who's going to do HR, right? So I would go that route. Like, I just make sure that you have a written agreement on if it doesn't work out, what are we going to do?
And then is it best to have one person ultimately take charge and be the decision maker?
You have to have one person who, you know, at the end of the day, decision by committee you can do when you're larger. Like in our business now, it's very much a consensus driven, data driven meritocracy, right? We decide based on consensus inside the organization of the executive team, the VP roles, or the director level, right? But we want consensus because if I say to Tristan, hey man, we all think we should do this, and you're like, I'm not in, you're gonna sabotage it, right? So we need consensus to get everybody on the same page to move the mountain together.
Okay.
So it sounds horrible because it's kind of like saying, hey, I'm getting married, but I should get a prenup.
Yeah.
Right? But in business, different from a marriage, like you want to be in a position where you could say, hey, look, man, we're going to take this as far as we can go. And look, we're bros now and we love each other. It's going to be awesome. But look, something could happen. You could get married, right? You could decide to leave the state. You could become disinterested in this. So we need a buy-sell agreement that makes sense.
And then what personality type or what person out of the business should be the decision maker? Like what's the type or what's the avatar for the decision maker?
Well, I know that the high D, high I is going to be the one that's going to want to make the decision. But if you look at like using DISC as an example, you want some SC. Like Cindy, like our COO, is D with a lot of S and C, not a lot of I.
Okay.
Not a lot of influence and excitement and energy, right? But she's super steady, super consistent, very calculated, right? And, you know, she kind of dances DC is kind of her thing, which, you know, I kind of want those people making decisions. Okay. Right? But the DI is going to want to make them.
Yeah.
So the balance of that.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know if that entirely helped.
No, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's going to help my friend out a lot.